wanna drift into a lonelier existence. Distance with a little love and assistance. Incense whites, not equally provided. Have we ever tried it? We'd stand united, as of now we stand divided. On the solemn ground of piously denying any issue. You'd remain in silent, take a pilot to the bike. The way we work around it, avoiding what's in front of us. Problems get compounded until we pay the interest, but the interest never let us get to reach our full potential. So we live in indifference. Schism got to shift between poorly held positions in a constant tug of war. The results indecision, total stagnation. To the amazement of everyone involved, I can't believe we're patient. Zero, tell me there's no other way to get around this. We need to learn to rise, or this light's gonna drown us. Know this world's found us, thoughts feeling wretched, disrespecting one another, keeping all relations separate, praying God's interjected on personal behalves of everyone that's worshipped. But really it's what has shut any real connection, instead of seeking genuflection. Seek the reflection of this God and you inspected. Unnecessary bias we almost have inside us. You look around and see this place is really far from righteous.
What would the world be like without me?
If I wasn't born,
would the world be the same now as you see?
if I wasn't born,
What would the world be like without me?
if I wasn't born,
Would the world be the same now as you see?
if I wasn't born,
What would the world be like without me?
if I wasn't born,
Would the world be the same now as you see?
if I wasn't born,
What would the world be like without me?
if I wasn't born,
Would the world be the same now as you see?
would life be the same? Would you have never felt this kind of pain? If I was never born, I'm not quite sure who I am anymore. But one thing's for sure, if I wasn't born,
What would the world be like without me?
if I wasn't born,
Would the world be the same now as you see?
if I wasn't born,
What would the world be like without me?
if I wasn't born,
Would the world be the same now as you see? Yeah. I spent my whole life dedicated to this music thing. But this song right here is dedicated to my dad. R-I-B-S-I-X-T-O. We miss you. Woodrow on the raps, CTG on the track. Yeah, you know who I be. Dedicated to the game.
I ain't got no time for you tryna hate on me. Tryna hate on me. Tryna hate on me. I ain't got no time tryna hate on me. Tryna hate on me. Tryna hate on me.
I ain't got no time for you try to hate on me. Try to hate on me. Try to hate on me. I ain't got no time for you try to
ever just have some really, really good days, bro? Just really good days. Waking up to a fresh cup of coffee, enjoying my view, thinking can't nobody stop me. Grown in the east, sitting in the west, in my Sunday's best, with something to caress. Get live, living, laughing, loving, making memories, since that's what's most important. Can't never say you can't afford them, so we're on the same page. Then all aboard, the train is leaving the station. Thank you for your patience. Slow down and soak the day in, cause Monday's coming quick. Barbecue and grill some shit, or lay down and don't do shit. Whatever your preference on any given Sunday, enjoy your life and make the best of it. Any given Sunday.
Yeah, it's days like this
you won't ever forget.
I said it's days like this
you make the best of it.
Days like this
you won't ever forget.
I said it's days like this
you make the best of it.
On any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Bet this can happen on any given Sunday. Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Bet this can happen on
any given Sunday.
Wake up, it's another day. My eyes closed and I'm breathing, thanking God today. And as I lay, my memory slowly creeps in. I'm in the studio vibing, it's the weekend. This is how it's supposed to be. Pen and pad close to me. Devious a couple feet away, bumping all the beats. I step outside and take a deep breath to blue skies, green land, and a calm lake. It's just another way of how I converse with God. I get lost in a moment with emotions so raw, no days off. My good face never comes off. It's good vibes over and over again, praying to heaven to bless me and not let me sin. I know nothing can stop me. I know that I'm a win. I know that I could be cocky, but I live my life for Him. So I recognize that I'm God's son, with the flow to bring light to all the lost ones. And my mission is to help others succeed by seeking truth and meditation and peace. Being yourself will save a soul. Hey, but this can happen on any given Sunday. Yeah. Any given Sunday. Yeah, it's days like this
you won't ever forget.
I said it's days like this
you make the best of it.
Days like this
you won't ever forget.
I said it's days like this
you make the best of it.
On any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Bet this can happen on
any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday.
Bet this can happen on
any given Sunday.
I want this life forever. I want this life forever.
Check my lawn, different whips, you can pick a flavor. Big chains on my neck just to irritate ya. Bad itch, so we take trips to Croatia. Work hard just to better myself. Strike deals with a company to better my wealth.
Never speaking on it as I'm moving in stealth. And they know that I'm a star, so my presence is felt. I remember catching buses to work, but now I'm in some new dish, trying to get the buttons to work. Look good, smell good as I button my shirt. I know the haters want me under the dirt, but I ain't playing with ya. Backsplash, marble countertops, light fixtures. That's a foreign language, I'm speaking to broke. Reaching for that Bentayga, not an Escalade. Making moves, making money, making plays.
Grind for a long time, you know how it goes. I'ma get what's on mine, you know how we do. Every day overtime, you know how it goes. You can catch me on the front line, you know how we do. I know they see it, and they all jealous. I know they feel it. We gon' keep making plays, keep making plays.
I want this life forever. I want this life forever.
I smoke the night away, night away. I smoke the night away. She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. All those secrets that I kept are coming out soon. She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. And all those secrets that I kept are coming out soon. I smoke the night away, the pain will go away. I'm wishing things would have stayed the same, but no way. I just wanted things my way. Every day was like replay, and I would listen to what she say. But now she's gone, I'm all alone. I can't do this on my own. And when I ask her to come back, all she ever say that I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. All those secrets that I kept are coming out soon.
You say you're leaving again, you're about to dip, huh? Giving up on everything that we have built up. Over stupid decisions, I know I slipped up. Somewhere between the other women in the strip clubs, but we can work it out. Never mind the word of mouth, the good things just don't seem so good without something I heard about. I know you heard about the women that I've been with, but you the type of girl to bring a player to his senses. Not saying marry me, but tell your friends to keep their 2 cents to themselves, cause this is nothing like a charity. If we need therapy, then we should do it. I should've did you right, cause you're the only one who's there for me. Apparently these phony parodies don't even care for me or care to see me living merrily. This is embarrassing, and I hope to see your face again. And I hope you say this ain't the end, nah.
She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. And all those secrets that I kept are coming out soon. She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. And all those secrets that I kept are coming out soon. I apologize for all those times I ever lied to you, baby. I really miss your touch. Nothing I want more is to see you walking back into the front door. Babe, I do anything, I give you everything. Tell me what you need to help you see, believe in me. She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. And all those secrets that I kept are coming out soon. She said I did it to myself, that I can't blame nobody else. And all those secrets that I kept are coming out soon.
Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright.
Now it's a positive vibration like Marley music, like when you're on vacation or your barbecue and having a reunion or a get together. It put you in the mood you want this forever. What's better than feeling good? Having a blast, family and friends all around making you laugh. Cause a negative ain't no way to live. I gotta live positive every day, and that's the way it is. Light up the grill, sip on some drink, and celebrate some good times, just like Kool and the Gang. Put on a swimming suit, jump in the swimming pool, turn up the stereo with something we could listen to. That's what we do. Ooh, and it's a summer too, having fun in the sun, sipping jungle juice. So come through, it's just family and friends, and once we get the party started, we don't want it to end.
Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright.
I'm from the Golden State, and it feels real great. To my trues, no fools, all love, no hate. Eating shrimp and steak, you can see my plate. Riding through my city, all gas, no brakes, let it marinate. You can give and take, making moves around my town, call it real estate. Spending 50 like I won the lotto. Hennessy, popping bottles, you only live once. Yeah, you know the motto.
Just another sunny day out in California, yay. Cali call from my folks, I'm about to slide to the function, man. I pulled up 4D, took my cooler out the trunk, got my bottles on ice, so you know we about to get drunk. She up on the grill, and it's going down for real. And you smell the marination in the air, it's so chill. Got my table set up, playing dominoes for squirrel. We about 100 deep at the park, can you feel?
Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright.
Summertime, sunshine, good friends, good times, good vibes, giving up. That I got an invite, backyard, poolside, barbecue, cookout, snook out to the side yard, a lookout, watching our backs, sack of the indica, blaze up, then go back into the house, grab a plate, chill on the sofa, full of the barbecue, high off the doja, got soda, beer, wine, mixed drinks, all good, fog washing down them hot links. Don thinks, time to jacuzzi, look at that string bikini on Susie's, juicy. Couple brews through me, just right, loving life better than a movie. Juicy, couple brews through me, just right, loving life better than a movie.
Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright. Something for the party. Something for tonight. Something for the good times. Everything's gonna be alright.
Yeah. I just wanna let you know, you'll recognize real. You gotta go at how you feel. We can find that out if we just conversate real quick. So let me talk to you, see what happens.
I'm looking left, B girl is looking sexy. She can come arrest me, figure looking sexy. I'm hoping she'll accept me, she'll know what I'm saying. So I stood to her and cracked the conversation. Girl, how's your day been? Looking good, I'm saying. Can I be your company and get rid of frustrations? Play from first place and still to second base. Your mind stimulated, wanting more and more dates. I could be a running mate. take it straight to home plate. I keep an open mind, ready to negotiate. I just want you to be real, I can't really deal with fake. And if you treat me right, I can take you all the way. Just know whose team you're on, cause I don't mess with strays. I'm Rob DiBiase, I ain't from around the way. I'm Stockton, Cali kid, girl, I love the way you live. I put in what you put out, so that's just the way it is. Excuse me, baby girl, I wanna know what your name is. Take a little walk so I can get some conversation. The moves that you're making, they let me know the deal. I'm feeling you, you feeling me, so maybe we can chill. Go and get some food, I'll take a stroll through the park. I'll go and get some ice cream when it's getting dark. I'm standing by the lark, thinking of the temptation. And baby, all I need is just a little conversation. Get some time to know you, baby, I'ma show you. When life is getting cold, I'ma warm you up and hold you. Bring you to the land of good vibes. Now all you gotta do is close your eyes, and I'ma take you to paradise. Put your guard down, I know your heart's been damaged. I'm not the type of man that would leave you stranded. I hope you feel the same, cause I'm far from a lame. I live that real life, far from playing the games. I took a ride on my cloud so I can have your mind flow. Like Aladdin and Jasmine, a whole new world. Or when you open up a clam and there's a beautiful pearl, and you're a beautiful girl, I got a beautiful heart. We got a lot in common, that's a beautiful start. No need for playing them parts, baby, just be yourself. I know you feel the talk, cause I'm like nobody else. So let's take a walk and start enjoying ourselves. Excuse me, baby girl, I wanna know what your name is. Take a little walk so I can get some conversation. The moves that you're making, they let me know the deal. I'm feeling you, you feeling me, so maybe we can chill. Go and get some food or take a stroll through the park. Or go and get some ice cream when it's getting dark. I'm standing by the lark, thinking of the temptation. So baby, all I need is just a little conversation. I can tell by the way you're moving that I'm far from losing. So keep the conversation real and we'll get rid of confusion. Turn on the heat and we can start to move and send a chill down your spine. Girl, you don't know what you're doing, you feel the Bible of movement. Now I just wanna take time to be your friend. So let me finish stimulating your mind. I follow something, let me know where you wanna go in life. I know my path can use your soul to help me sleep through the night. Wanna protect you when you're feeling that fright. Now all we gotta do is follow the light to happiness. I know you wanna be happy, man, if this is a dream, I hope that nobody's slashing you away. I feel you tremble and shake. The combo just got good. She starts releasing the brakes and said, I need a real man. Do you got what it takes? I pull it up in the lark. She's in, and now we floating away. Baby, we floating away. Hey, excuse me, baby girl, I wanna know what your name is. Yeah. Just a little walk so I can get some conversation. You know the deal. You know the deal, girl. Conversation. Just a little conversation. Just a little conversation. Get some ice cream. Get some something cool. Ooh. Just trying to conversate with you, baby. So I want. I just want to talk a little. Get to know you a little better. Am I wrong for that? No. Make that movement happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You do this. I like me and you. As one.
I put a lot of time in this, I'm finally riding my way. Wake up and get in my grind mode. Wake up and fly in the space zone. Grinding so hard that I don't ever sleep. Got my eyes closed as I'm riding this heat. This is me, living my dream, doing it all with my team. Don't nobody care if my virtues exist. If I ever go all out, I don't need your assist. Got a vision on my mind, man, my life is a trip. I've been grinding too long, man, my life. I've been grinding, hustling. Oh yeah. Perfect timing, oh my God. Oh yeah. I've been grinding, hustling. Oh yeah. Perfect timing, oh my God. Oh yeah. I'm on my grind all of the time. Rep 209, you know that I shine. I'm on my grind all of the time. Rep 209, you know that I shine. I got work, I got you got nothing, you won't snooze. I got work, I got hustle hard, I don't lose. Spit these bars, I'ma go hard. Young star, I'ma go far. Yeah, call me crazy if you really want to. I'ma do just what the fuck I want to. I just landed on the top of greatness. I be working, I don't do the hating. All it really took it was some patience. Flirted with success and now I'm taking. Keep it 100, yeah, face it. If you hating, you don't need to fake it. Whole life is remastered. I'm moving way, way faster. Mix it right and do all of my shit. 100 mils what I'm after. They told me that I wouldn't make it, but when I got out, I was faking, and everything's different. It's like I went missing and came back a little more distant. Focus on one dream and that is the mission. I don't get credit where credit is due. Taxing my credit as if it was new. Worth the whole Billy, I thought you all knew. Doing it all with my team, we enlisted. City is crazy and that's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. In the studio all week till my stomach feels weak, till my future seems bleak. I don't think you understand. Got a vibe with me, man. Let's get it. I've been grinding, hustling. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect timing. Oh my God. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been grinding, hustling. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect timing. Oh my God. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on my grind all of the time. Rap 209. You know that I shine. I got work. I got you got nothing. You on snooze. I got work. I got hustle hard. I don't lose. Spit these bars. I'ma go hard. Young star. I'ma go far.
Life don't give you lemons. Life just give you seeds. You gotta cultivate and irrigate. Don't fear to shake the demons that appear to break your dreams and stay to irritate your needs. All these forms of communication got us disconnected as ever. No longer tuned into the station. All we hear is static when we try to listen better, but of heaven and hell, I've been known to rebel. I'm dapping up Jesus, knowing Satan as well. Life is a trip when you taking some trips, and life ain't a. She's a complicated pessimist. Closest thing we got that God's a woman, so I'm feminist. Reminisce or reminisce of past lives, the past time. But I just wanna sip my lemonade. I just. But I just wanna sip my lemonade. Meditate on the moment. Meditate on the moment. Meditate on the moment. It's been a long time coming. And I ain't got much else to say. I spent a long time running. But now I'm walking steady, ready for whatever gave me two choices. So I broke the lever. Ain't never been a fake, but I've always been a factor. Real as the bills I ain't never paid. And I ain't never been afraid to do what I want to do when I want to do it. All I ever wanted to do was make music. Make music. Make music. But I just want to sip my lemonade. And I just wanna sip my lemonade. From Stockton, California, to the whole world. I just wanna sip your lemonade, bruh. We all got problems we going through. Don't let them bring you down, though. Put your lemonades up.
Trust me, I've been working. Monday to Sunday, show up and murder. Rehearsing these words until I get perfect. Serving at my purpose. Nerve that you worship, don't make me nervous. Step on their toes and tell them you heard this. I've been working.
Name Timothy, last name graduated. So many people doubted me, a few congratulated. Which means few were proud of me, many were aggravated. That I didn't end up where they did, I simply navigated through the drama till it evaporated. And off my demons till they evacuated. My formula to success is to always make sure my moves are calculated. And stand out in the market that's oversaturated. Cats that hated been popping up in my DM. They slept on your boy, minus the Tylenol PM. I'm a star boy, unable to descend. Even if they don't see beauty behind the man, it's like the weekend. Yeah, shit sells and show me love from the jump. They stood by my side even when I was in a slump. All my baby girl rappers that sound dumb with a trunk, but getting lumped up and shoved in a trunk. Yeah,
trust me, I've been working. Monday to Sunday, show up in Merkin. Rehearsing these words until I get perfect. Serving them my purpose. Serve that you worship, don't make me nervous. Step on their toes and tell them you heard this. I've been working. Place me on that pedestal that I was up a guard over. While they answer benefits, so tell them I've been working. When they ask me who's up next, and I pull up, yes, just so I can cool your jets. Bet. The way I piece together words is heard by visionaries. Still I compete with hella nerds, earn my temporary 15 minutes in this spotlight with these top flight off-white, not tight mob like plights that you all hype. We write for the nights that we all like cereal. Through strife, mama cried to find us a miracle. But life is a type to grind that you really slow. So if you hear me know through these lyrics, hope isn't really shown. Heroes out of the bottom of the East End. Problem solving, you call them if an author is beast in. If you're not too fond, then you probably part of the reason. The people need you gon' leave that speech alone while we defend. Relentless with these feelings, I've been hurting, wording these verses, making sure verdicts certain through my city. I'm that person that can rock a crowd so perfect. The first pick, and I did this on purpose. So trust me, I've been working. Monday to Sunday, show up in Merkin. Rehearsing these words until I get perfect. Serving them my purpose. Serve that you worship, don't make me nervous. Step on their toes and tell them you heard this. I've been working. Place me on that pedestal that I was up a guard over. While they answer benefits, so tell them I've been working. When they ask me who's up next, and I pull up, yes, just so I can cool your jets.
I've been swimming in women and living without linens, couch surfing and floor crashing and out business. These people love excuses, I've been a devout witness. All this cracked up to me, I'm beginning to doubt this. Is I've been working harder than them and then I've been perking. Anybody talking about intermissions is curtains. Shoe fits, wear it, I'm slipping into these Birkins. Stocking up for the future, for now I give them these verses. Progress is the product, it's never better than lately. The J just stands for Jeremy, no, he's never been lazy. I'ma push him this hope to the day that I'm pushing daisies. If you're thinking I'm asleep, you must be crazy, motherfucker. I've been working ever since the lemonade stand. I was dreaming about the day that I could ever make fans. Now I'm dreaming about the day I play for 7-8 grand. Let them talk, they will whenever they can. But you can trust me, I've been working. Monday to Sunday, show up in Merkin. Rehearsing these words until I get perfect. Serving them my purpose. Serve that you worship, don't make me nervous. Step on their toes and tell them you heard this. I've been working. Place me on that pedestal that I was up a guard over. While they answer benefits, so tell them I've been working. When they ask me who's up next, and I pull up, yes, just so I can cool your jets. Bet. Working. Trust me, I've been working. Monday to Sunday, show up in Merkin. Rehearsing these words until I get perfect. Serving them my purpose. Serve that you worship, don't make me nervous. Step on their toes and tell them you heard this. I've been working. Place me on that pedestal that I was up a guard over. While they answer benefits, so tell them I've been working. When they ask me who's up next, and I pull up, yes, just so I can cool your jets. Bet. Working.
My concho.
Boys and many men, the bandito that's down for the citizens. In California, originally from Michigan, from the Midwest, so live in the Western. Put it on a blanket, that's how they test germs. Take your land and then let the rest burn. Don't know, then you best learn. Runaway slaves became cowboys. Better run away, cause you's a wild boy. Puff on peace pipe, a loud noise. When we take your cash and credits now void. Yeah, I'm sure my ancestors was bandits. Quick draw McGraw, looking for an advantage. Before you planned it, you get banished off the planet. Corpses rancid, vultures left you one-handed. By cactus and tumbleweed, I humbly continue to crumble leaves. Honey backwood attracting bumblebees. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails. Having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west. Love the perp smell. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails. Having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west. Love the perp smell. Soul climber, ain't no old timers. Outlaw cold rhymers and close designers. If you trying to define us, don't try to find us. Put you in the earth and blow that mind up. Step your mind up. get it through your understanding. I leave you scrambling, no matter what you have planned. I catch him at the Grand Canyon, letting off the hand cannon while I left no man standing. I shot the sheriff, not the deputy. Smoke like a legend, leave a legacy. My weaponry's a necessity to this western beat. So rest in peace to the head honcho. I'm pulling out pronto for reaching under ponchos. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails, having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west, love the perp smell. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails, having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west, love the perp smell. Stories told, sit under stars by campfire. Watch out for that werewolf that ran by you. Pistols and lamp fire, yes I'ma stand by you. They scared of the light, they suckers like vampires, but with no hassle. And before they grab you, caught them with a lasso. Turn around and blast them, hook them to her satchel. Snakes with more rattle, don't let them slash you. Still a few cattle, cause we've been in first. Forgiveness I sin at first, on knees I've been in church. Bandana, 10 with spurs, outlaw to senators. Big boss, not miniature, opposition, injurer on the clock. Like men at work, high school, I'm a minister. I'm just trying to end the curse. What I'm on the stage, folk, yes I'm grateful. Not to get the pesos, cowboy hat and a gray coat. Can't get the place though, Mary Jane in the stagecoach. Showing my city love, tells from a witty thug. Writing he really does, and weed to give me buzz. Don't need no silly drugs, cause pages I'm filling up. So to the west side sunset, giddy up. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails, having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west, love the perp smell. It's still pistol horses and dirt trails, having shootouts at the sound of church bells. Put my ear to the ground, hear what the earth tell. Welcome to the wild, wild west, love the perp smell.
The devil's playground, where they spray rounds, get laid down. If you ain't real cautious, I know how sick it may sound. Drug wars, trying to survive on the battlefield. We killing each other, living nightmare, this can't be real. In Mudville, Cali, with palm trees and clutching steel. Corrupt cops in the streets, I'm starving to get a meal. I'm from a city where the good die young. Been in corners with no choice but to carry a gun. Car washing every block, it ain't no fun in the sun. Shots rang out and now you have to bury your son. Out the window with a chopper, looking out for helicopters. Patron and weed with their head dreaded just like some rosters. I merge away from imposters, from the rebirth and the monster. No eating shrimp and the lobster. They see you balling and they scheming, trying to take you off of the roster. I serve them all proper like fake friends or smiles to your face, but waiting to pop you.
Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, you get laid down. It's the devil's playground. Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, don't get laid down. In the devil's playground.
All I ever wanted was a fat pocket, a 500 Benz with the back knocking. Roll through when the white folks act cautious. I guess they rather see me in the black coffin, sitting in class like school. College should be free, I paid enough dues. Trust nobody, see through them like windows. I don't even look like what I've been through. Nah, that mean never let them see you sweat. A year later, still got that bullet in my flesh. God still allowed me to see the sunrise. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. A punchline in the gun rhyme. I want that brown paper bag like lunchtime. And I barely pray to God, but I know he did. Put my freedom at risk for that dollar bill.
Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, you get laid down. It's the devil's playground. Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, don't get laid down. In the devil's playground. I see the devil out here running around on every block. Recruiting with all shooting from your very Glock. Destroying the precious people when they smoking rock. I got a question for you though, when will it stop? I I lost my partner to a killer running wild, homie. How you get the right to take a mother's child, homie? I think it's time to be honest, we living foul, pimpin'. Can't you see that the devil was on the prowl, pimpin'? We in need of something new, these murders getting old. I ain't rapping for nothing, I'm reaching for your soul. Don't end up in the hole for the glitter and gold. Don't look down on your brother when he breaking the mold. Know it's all for the best when I'm striving for more. You won't listen to God, but you ready for woe. Out here living in sin, trying to stay damn. Just remember that you're in the devil's playground. Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, you get laid down. It's the devil's playground. Little city, big dreams, land full of dope. Guns ring, sirens sing, giving no hope. Mayhem in the streets for the money, don't get laid down. In the devil's playground.
Here at KXVS, broadcasting from Stone Tube Studios, is the voice of Stockton.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ronnie, and you're listening to
Happy
Rise and Shine
Monday.
209, the KXVS, the voice of Stockton morning show. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Ronnie, and you guys heard it. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
But you are joining in on Rise and Shine 209 KXVS, the morning show, the voice of Stockton 92.1 FM. We have our guests in the house today. Thank you so much, Anitra. So her name is Anitra Williams, and she is the director of nursing over at Dignity Health St. Joseph's, our community hospital. So I want you guys to welcome her here. So welcome.
Anitra.
Thank you.
And then we have also our guest co-host today, Ingrid. So thank you so much for coming and joining. You guys have seen her a few times. I don't know. She might become a regular. Who knows? She and I might become like a permanent pair. We never know how that goes.
Know.
But for now, I just want to like really introduce you guys to Anitra. She is also a Stockton native.
Yes.
So she went to Franklin High School.
Stag.
No, she went to Webster with us. We went to Webster together.
Okay, so I did go to Webster with her.
Because I was just like, no.
Well, I went off to Franklin.
You did.
And then you guys went off to Stag.
Yes.
Well, Franklin for a little bit, then you went off to Stag.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember you were playing sports as well, right?
Correct. Running track.
Uh-huh.
Attempting to play basketball.
I attempted to.
We tried.
That's what I remember.
Ingrid and I have some pictures together from our Stag State dribbling days. I was known as Wrong Way. Made a layup in the wrong basket. So
that's so funny. We'll have to have Derek come back. He's from Team Trouble and just give us some more pointers.
We're not playing basketball these days.
We'll just hang out for the day in the park.
We hung up our sneakers.
Right. And moved on to other things.
Absolutely.
Well, I think you have moved on to some really wonderful things and great things that you've been doing. So you're the director of nursing over at Dignity Health now.
Correct.
Yes, and you have been bringing in great educational programs because you guys know that I am also over at Dignity Health and I'm in the laboratory area. Right. So, but with Anitra, she brings in a lot of education because she has so many people to educate and keep abreast of like the practices and things that are going on in not only in the industry, but things that they need to watch out for, but also like those that, come into the community, like into the industry, the medical industry, from the community. Like those are our clients, that's who we take care of. But there's like one big thing that she brought in that really struck a chord with me because, we've been, my kids are very adamant about it. Their friends are very adamant about it. We've been speaking about it more and more as things have come to light across the nation, and that's human trafficking. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to bring Anitra in and have her speak on a little bit of why she brought this particular topic to the forefront of education. So if you can speak on that a little bit, that'd be great.
So the reason that I'm so passionate about human trafficking is because it is, in fact, modern day slavery. Mm-hmm. And I consider myself to be an activist. I've always been extremely active in the San Joaquin County community, even since I was in high school. Like, I just have had a passion for helping the disenfranchised. I mean, I'm a member of that group, and I grew up in a community where I was surrounded by a lot of things, and I saw a lot of things as a young child growing up. And I'll never forget that during my elementary years, I had a 5th grade friend, and I'm a 5th grader, so I'm 9 years old, and she's describing to me how her mom lets people come in and hurt her. And so at the age of 9, like, you know, I was advanced.
What is this?
But not that advanced. I mean, I was somebody who played with Barbie dolls until I was 15 years old. So
Same here.
Yeah, so it's like I'm listening to her tell me this, and a part of me knew that it must have been wrong, but I continued to play. We just continued to play tag. But I felt like that was a cry for help. I later learned that she, in fact, was being trafficked in some degree. So her mom's boyfriend was allowing various men to come in and do things to her so that they can get their drugs.
Wow.
And so even that's a form of trafficking.
Yes.
That's abuse. And so she had her innocence taken at a very young age.
Yes.
And we later came across each other in our, as adults, as young adults in our early 20s. And, you know, she told me she had a hard life. Like, she got into drugs. Exactly. But she was on the road to recovery.
Nice.
And I remember it was such a therapeutic conversation because I cried. I felt like maybe if I had intervened at the age of 9 years old, she wouldn't have had to go through what she went through.
Like, you remember that memory, and it's like, what could I have done at that time? But to know that you knew for some reason that particular conversation always stayed with you for that reason.
Absolutely. It always did. And so I let her know that, you know, I was going to get something going. Like, I wanted to bring awareness and shine a light that people are trafficked, and they can be trafficked, and they're being trafficked in our backyard. It's happening here.
It really is.
So your kids are probably going to school with young girls and boys who are experiencing this form of trafficking. And it's not just about sex trafficking, it's also labor trafficking. So as you mentioned, I am the chair of the Dignity Health anti-human trafficking efforts at my local facility, St. Joseph's Hospital. I'm also co-chair of the healthcare sector here in our community. So there is a San Joaquin County task force as well.
Beautiful.
That's led by Joel Gomez. And we've got law enforcement represented, healthcare, education. And so over the past 3 years, I would say that we've been extremely involved in bringing awareness to this issue, as has this awareness been on a national platform, so to speak. But we are a hub. Stockton, Oakland, you know, the Sacramento area, we're right where it's all out. We've got the Port of Stockton, we've got truck stops. And so we have been able to rescue, because of the program that we implemented at St. Joseph's Hospital, we actually rescued 4 young people. And we recently had a teenage boy who came in showing signs of that he was a victim and showing red flags. And one of our registration clerks was able to identify right away. So it lets me know that the education that we're providing, it's not in vain, and that people want to help. Innately, we're all good, you know, we're good people. And so my being here today, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you so much.
It's when you see something, say something.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Act on it.
That's the key factor, you guys, is like when you see something, you say something. And we want to help you learn and identify what some of those signs are today, in the event that you guys might not know, or maybe you questioned it, or maybe you just think it's the norm, but we can help you understand that it might not be the norm, and this is what that looks like. So she's already described one situation where she had a friend at a young age come in and let her know that, you know, her parents were letting people come in and hurt her. That might be something you might hear from a young girl or a young boy. Other things that you might come across are physical signs, and just, you know, I want to say other than physical signs, but your other sensories, like you can smell certain things too sometimes.
Absolutely. So I want to say, like, to parents out there, if there's parents that are listening, pay attention to what's happening with your kids.
Please, their friends.
Don't try to protect them and think that they're too young to hear and learn about
that's
this.
That's my biggest thing, is never ever think that they are too young to ever understand or learn. Because if you think about it, and if you think about us in a war, in a sense, that in these third world countries that you see around the world, they don't have time to baby and sugarcoat anything. This is what it is, and this is what you need to know, and this is what you need to know to survive. And in the same world that we have an urban developing community. We are going from rural to urban development, and it's going fast. You have a lot of things that are coming in that you might not know what that looks like. So you gotta hear what people are saying. You gotta know where to go. And some of the places that you can go are St. Joseph's.
Absolutely, St. Joseph's Hospital. I'm actually going to be doing some education at Loda Memorial for their ED department.
Beautiful.
So one thing that I want to say about Dignity Health, St. Joseph's, we don't just hoard information. We truly believe in furthering the healing ministry of Jesus Christ. So what knowledge we have, we want to share with all. And so our leadership team is very supportive of me going out and educating other facilities. And so I'm really happy to do that, because ultimately at the end of the day, we all have a duty to help in modern day slavery.
And the more people that know, the more people.
It is teamwork. And across the healthcare industry, like I said, across the industry, it is teamwork. And the fact that we're able to share you and have you share that information and what you've brought and learned. So how did you go about starting to implement this and bring this in?
So initially, there was an initiative. So we had a big event in about 2014 in San Francisco where we heard from survivors.
Okay.
And Dignity Health sponsored this event. We also heard from members of law enforcement. And there was one story where a member of law enforcement was sharing where he and his wife, they're an upper middle class family. They attend church and they believe they've raised their children right. And long story short, he says that I usually try to shelter my children, but on this one particular night at dinner, I was so bothered and conflicted by what was happening, and they had arrested a trafficker and rescued some young victims, that he shared with his young daughter.
Because she needed to know.
He just shared. He said, I don't know why. I normally would never have done this. Wow. And she started crying, and she ran into her room and came back, and she showed him a ticket where some man had bought her a ticket to Ireland.
Oh.
And she was about to leave and go be with this guy, and so had basically been lured, had started a chat room conversation with obviously an older gentleman who had convinced her to just run away with him.
In the nick of time.
And just in a nick, he said he doesn't know how or why that occurred. And so it was in that moment that I looked over at Sister Abby, and I'm like, I want to be a part of this. I want to like be a part of this education, because then of course I'm thinking about my girlfriend, when I was a kid, and it's like, you just don't know
when it's going to be the time that it's going to affect somebody.
Absolutely. And so the rest pretty much is history then. So there was an initiative, set forth, and by 2015, myself, along with Mandy Couts, Petra Stanton, Mary Cervantes, we basically educated probably about 1,800 employees in a matter of 4 months.
Beautiful.
That's face-to-face education. And I kid you not, the moment that we implemented that, within the first week of implementation is when we rescued a 14-year-old girl.
Nice. Oh my
goodness. So think of all the years that, we've had people coming in possibly with the tattoos or showing signs of hypervigilant behavior, or they're accompanied by that overbearing person, and we just don't want to go there. Well, now the team at St. Joseph's, we want to go there.
Right, especially now that we see these things.
Yes, and so that's pretty much how it all began. So.
And what she means by overbearing, I just kind of want to elaborate on that, because you can find this not only in appointments when they're going to the doctor's offices, but you can find them if they are going to school or to any other event that might be a situation where that person
can talk to somebody.
So
right.
So
I have a question. So, and it's kind of, it's not so much the exact, human trafficking, but like abusive relationships that kind of have the same, along the line, maybe somebody's being locked in a room that they don't have any access to speak to anybody, So I was just wondering, say for instance, somebody went to the doctor and somebody and the partner's there, so say birth control, for instance, that the partner doesn't want them to be put on birth control because they might cheat.
Right.
So how does somebody that's in a situation like that let the doctor know somehow, some way, that they're in an abusive relationship and they can't necessarily speak about that because the person's there?
So that can be a little tricky. It can be a sticky situation, but that's why it's so necessary for us to get out there and educate in the clinics as well as in our hospital facilities, because we're now teaching healthcare providers a way to get that person out of the room. Possibly you want to say, okay, I need to take you to radiology. We're going to go and get a test. I'm sorry, sir, you can't come with her. It'll just be 15 minutes. We're just going to do a quick chest x-ray. She'll be right back. And so it's trying to think of a creative strategy to pull that person away from that individual and then just asking them, are you safe? Are you okay? And we can't force people to want help. We can't.
That's true. Absolutely.
So what I have learned through my research and studying about this, because human trafficking, again, you're so right, Ingrid, it's like domestic violence, that mindset. You have been browbeaten, you have been beaten down, that you are under the control of that individual.
And they think it's the norm and that it's okay and that nothing's wrong.
And sometimes they walk freely on the streets and you say, well, why don't they just run away? They could, but people don't understand mind manipulation. That hold that these individuals have over these young girls and young boys, and even if you're in an abusive relationship now, he or she has control. They have a hold over your mind. And until you are at the point where you want to get out, then you're not going to. And so in that instance, it's just, again, it's just finding that creative avenue to pull that person away from the individual and then just asking, are you okay? Are you safe? There's so much help out there for women and men of any type of abuse. And we've just got to kind of spread the word. And again, the person's got to be willing to receive that help. And I think also people just need to know where to go. So again, if you are listening out there, and if you are in some type of abusive relationship, be it, some girls and boys aren't even able to identify that they're victims of human trafficking. They don't realize that. And so to our listeners, please know that if you are under the age of 18 years old, you cannot consent to becoming a prostitute. It infuriates me when we call these young kids, oh, they're prostitutes. That's a choice. It's not a choice.
That is not a choice.
It is not a choice. And even if it's our socioeconomics, their situation that they're living in, to where they feel they need to get out there and sell themselves so they can eat at night, shame on us as a community. That person is not choosing prostitution, and they should never be looked at as if they are prostitutes. Instead, we should be asking why. What is it that's occurred in this young person's life that's gotten them to this point?
That has driven them to do for survival need that they're selling their body.
And that's like when you say that, it's like when as a parent, you know, like as a parent, like for me, it's like under 18, you have no say so.
No say so.
You have no consent to anything for anybody to, you know, say that, oh, I'm consenting. Like even with consensual sex, it's just like you can't consent to anything.
And I really like the point that you hit on, though. It's shame on us in the community for allowing and watching these things happen and seeing it go by. You see these young people right before your eyes. Sometimes, and I have no qualms with, a lot of people tell me not to intervene, not to interfere when I see something out on the streets. I'm not that person. So, you know, people who, I'm just saying, you know, I'm not with anybody, but if you ever think that you're going to be with me, I'm just going to let you know right now, we will go head to head at situations like that. So if you're going to be my partner, you will be ready for that, because I do not quietly sit by and watch things happen. I will intervene, and should that be, and a lot of people, well, you got to be careful because you might get killed. You know what? Being a soldier, I could easily be killed too. You know, anything that you are doing in life, no matter what it is, whether it's health, there's always a way that you're going to go. And if that moment I was able to help somebody else out and save a life, it to me, it's okay. I don't mind, because we're all going to go sometime.
So that's one thing we're guaranteed.
I don't have a fear of intervening. So it's one of those things where to even be able to go up and ask the question, are you okay?
And so my thing is like, stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And so I think us being here is a testament that we all stand for something. And while definitely not encouraging people out there to, you know, start riding up and down the streets of Stockton, you know, trying to look for these issues and then jump in, like put their cape on. Exactly. But what you want to do, if you see something in your gut, it just doesn't sit right, you pick up the phone and you call 911. If you are being the good Samaritan by possibly getting the license plate number and just explaining, you know, hey, to the dispatch, I'm really concerned that there may be a trafficking situation here. Our Stockton Police Department, they really are trying to, get a handle on what's happening in the community, and they're ready to receive those phone calls. And the more descriptive that you can be, great. But definitely don't go trying to jump in the car and grab the person, the girl or the boy out of the car and say, I think you need help. Because again, a lot of times these young folks, they don't realize, and they've been beaten and they're coerced, so they are given drugs to control them. So some of them have never been engaged in any type of or using substance abuse, but their captor, their Romeo pimp or their gorilla pimp, when he gets them and beats them and breaks them in, so to speak, he's putting them on heroin, he's giving them meth, he's doing all these things that now make them need him because they
start to get addicted.
They
have another piece, another element to control them with, other than the manipulations that they got them with in the first time.
Yes.
Now they have a physical control because now their body is starting to become addicted and craving and wanting.
Right.
The stories that I heard during the live training.
Yes.
Absolutely moving, absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that we can literally go out and be able to share this information and touch one or another to give them just a glimpse of light, like in the darkness, like just to be able to say, like, we can tap and crack the darkness because there is light, there is help. And these are the things that you can utilize, like phone calls, safe places to go. There is a hotline that you guys can call, and I don't know if you have it off the top of your head, but I remember it was like a very, very easy number. And I'm going to go back and find that again if I don't have it right now, but I think it was like 1-800, like 3737. Like, it was
we can
a very,
post
very
it after the show
number.
and have it available.
So you guys can have that. It is picking up the phone, calling the police department. I don't know if they have like a specific word or code that you guys would say if you're calling something like that.
Just say if you're worried about trafficking. And again, we're huge with agriculture. And again, it's not just about sex trafficking. So when you see those young individuals on the street corners and they're selling fruit or roses or what have you, that is a form of trafficking. We know this to be true. It's labor trafficking, and there are individuals that are going to places like Argentina, South America. They're bringing these young kids over here, and many of them speak an indigenous language that we can't even use Siricom to find out what they're saying, but there's a big sting right now, and we're focused on this. We know what's happening throughout the community and even in the Bay Area, but we're not able to really do much at this point. So I just encourage you just to be aware of that, and if we can stop supporting, this, you kind of decrease the demand. So if we're always pulling over and there's this 13-year-old kid that's out in the scorching sun selling this, the more you're buying from that, person, it's like you're encouraging that type of behavior.
It reminds me of when I went to Mexico on a cruise. And so when we got into Ensenada, before we got off of the bus, the guy says, we know that there's going to be a lot of kids running around. They're going to be trying to sell you chicle and various goods. He says, and yes, they're cute. He said, but please do not purchase anything from them because it continues to keep them out of school. So the more money that they make, the less likely they're to get an education.
Oh, that's
Powerful.
tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because, you want to help them earn the money, but then it's like, that and it's a good thing that they educated you about that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, because of course you're tourists and you're like, oh, how cute, and so, but Hattie and I had said that, it wouldn't have like made that much sense to me, but when he said that, I was just like, wow.
Yeah. And Ingrid brought up a good point that I also just want the listeners to know. In our head, when we talk about pimps, we all have an idea or an image that pops into that pops into our mind. And I have to say that you've got to take that image out of your head.
Yeah.
So if you're imagining that, this is a person that, is wearing their cat daddy suit and they're
driving a Cadillac,
driving a Cadillac or whatever, or they've got their pants sagging real low. Sometimes traffickers, they're judges, they're attorneys, they're pastors.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's grandma, it's grandpa.
Oh my goodness.
It's mom, it's dad. Okay, we have had mothers addicted to drugs selling their children's virginity on Craigslist.
I have seen that at a young age. My gosh, on Craigslist.
Wow. And so Backpage, that was finally shut down. I'm sure you're aware of that. That was one of the, we knew that that's where escorts, and prostitution, there was a huge ring, and finally the federal government did seize that. And so that's a start. And I will be happy when we start really going after Johns and prosecuting them, because
looking for the young ones.
Well, there was
specifically for the virgins.
There was one prior to that was a big one. I think it was like Red Page, or it was out of San Francisco, and I remember that it was huge. Like it was big. It was on the news or something, and they had talked about like the federal government shutting that down.
Yeah. So was that
they did Backpage? They did. They shut it down.
Oh my gosh! Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. And of course, don't get me started on what the punishment's going to be for that executive.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm telling you, I was so passionate about after receiving this information. And just having another tool in my kit to go out into the community to like help as many people as possible, because I love to do that as in any way, shape, form, or fashion that I can. So I assist with putting together and helping out with a show called A Meal and a Show, where we go out to the homeless and we feed the homeless, and at the same time we give a free concert, a free comedy show, all the it's like, so by the entertainers of the community come together to throw this for the homeless, because some have been from the streets, on the streets, so they kind of know, and they know what's going on, and they want to give back because they've kind of reached a different level, and so they want to give back. We want to give back, we want to help out, and I want to take more information of what we have to bring to those in need while we're out there. Absolutely. So anytime we can bring resources. And I remember taking that phone number. I don't have it in my mind right now, but
it's one you need to memorize.
It was pretty easy, actually. I think I have it written down, but so I shared it while I was out there, and I was so thankful that people were really paying attention, because then a couple of people, after I was done making the announcement and giving my performance, and then another one went on, they were able to approach me, and I was able to speak to them on the sidelines to provide this information to them for the help and assistance of others that they were concerned about.
Right. Well, I just want to say that being in that part of the community, like doing that show, the homeless people are probably some of the best people to give that information to. Absolutely. Because they're everywhere. They're up different times of the night. Sometimes if they may be camped out somewhere, they might hear something that somebody else necessarily wouldn't hear. That's a great that you're able to give that to them, because I think that the homeless are definitely,
and I'm sure they see it a lot, with their friends, children, and I'm absolutely. Sure they still have like a heart, even though maybe addictions may have gotten them. Some of them don't really want to be there. Right. They don't want to see things like that happen.
And it's a vulnerable population. Very and again, vulnerable. There are children, so you speak my language. I do a lot with our homeless. I'll go set up camp at around Lincoln Street, right across near the DMV, pass out like a pizza and food, water, and so on and so forth. So I definitely want to learn more about the event that you're hosting, and possibly bring some of my Line Sisters out, or Delta Sigma Theta, because we love doing community service as well, and help out with that. We have shoe cards in English and Spanish that do have the hotline phone number on it, and little key ring attachments, or just something that's easy for someone to kind of keep away from someone, to hide, and the number is very easy to memorize, so I'll make sure that I get some to you for the studio just when you're out. You and Ingrid can definitely pass those out, and it's free, so I can send you all that information. So for the links, you can order as many as you want. So there's a lot of free resources out there surrounding this subject,
and linking them with who we can in the community. So it's always good to let them know if they have to drop in, they can drop into the hospitals.
Absolutely, drop into the hospitals.
It is a county-wide effort.
Correct.
So any hospital, they should be able to drop in. And
McDonald's is a safe place. People don't realize that, but McDonald's for any type of abuse.
I was going to ask, because I've seen because of the Ronald McDonald House, but I was just going to ask right now about You know how they have the safe baby drop off places.
Yes, yeah.
So all of those places are still, those would qualify as safe places
Yeah.
for. So I didn't know McDonald's.
McDonald's
but
is a safe.
I have seen that little sign.
Yep.
The little
Oh
hand
my
sign.
goodness.
Yeah, no one's for sale. And it's like, but any type of abuse. So if I were a victim of domestic violence and I needed help, I can go to McDonald's and just say, I need help. Please keep me safe. And they're supposed to escort me back to a room and then,
Wow.
call law enforcement, so on and so forth. Our local city line, I call them city lines.
Yeah,
because
that
we were
was
there, but I think it's got a different term now.
It's RTD.
RTD, there we go. So city line back in the day for us.
City line.
So RTD now. So, but you can get on there and not worry about having money. So these, if you're ready, if you're listening out there, there are ways. Jump on that public transportation and say, please, I'm a victim of trafficking. Help me. And have a seat. And they are supposed to take you to safety, so you can do that. That's like awesome.
That's
McDonald's,
amazing.
if you're thinking about
McDonald's
it,
is amazing.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
yes.
Me either.
And so there are safe places. The Women's Center is also wonderful. We have something called Weave in the Sacramento area, but we've got a list. There's so many resources here in the community, and I'll make sure that I share that with you guys, our community resources. But Women's Center is also a really, really great place to start.
Regional Transit District, right?
Yes.
It's so crazy.
I do shout out, so I'm doing the shout out.
Yes, please do a shout out.
What's so crazy is, that that little sign that they have, like at the fire department, at the, on the bus, like I've seen it like on the bus, like when you were, so that little sign I've seen at McDonald's and I never correlated it.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I was amazed. And you know who actually taught me that, because I didn't know, is Suzanne Schultz. I have to do a shout out to our district attorney. So Suzanne Schultz works with our district attorney here. She's been extremely passionate about educating school districts. She's going to be at Cesar Chavez putting on a 4-part series where they're educating young students and parents about dating violence.
That's really good.
That's so important.
Yes.
We should. Is that open
Suzanne
to the
Schultz
public?
would love to come to your show, I'm sure. So I'll have to
love
put
to
you.
have her.
She is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to get her on your show as well.
It's just amazing
she's a
to me
district
how
attorney?
She's not a district
No.
attorney, but she's like an administrative support for our DA's office. But she's really been big in the county task force doing education. She's the chair for the education subcommittee, and so she's been really instrumental in spreading the word and
For human trafficking?
Yes, for human trafficking and dating violence, because again, it can start that way.
I know
Sometimes
it's starting
the abusive
so
boyfriend
early.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy how like abuse is like so prevalent and so many forms and fashions, from very subtle, like very subtle to very extreme, where you're getting beat, or you're being locked in a room, or that kind of thing.
that controlling behavior, so telling
Controlling
the other person,
behavior.
and it goes both ways. So we talk more like we seem to be female centric, but males are victims of violence as well.
Absolutely.
And
There's a lot of mean women out there, not?
I mean,
No,
it could be the teenage girl
I-
saying, you will shut down all of your social media. You
Yeah.
can't have social. So that's already a sign. That's a red flag. So
Yeah,
your
when-
son, little Johnny, is shutting down all of his
when
social
you,
media.
when you
Yeah.
can't
All of a sudden it's
when you
being
can't do
isolated.
that, or you know, like just and there's words out there, and it might not be like, oh, you can't, or babe, I just don't want you to have social media anymore.
Yeah, they come out very sweet and soft about it.
Can you make sure you call me,
should just be
like
me,
when you get
you
there.
don't need
I need to
anybody
know when you
else.
get there.
Exactly.
So like just like very subtle, that it doesn't seem like it is, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
But if it feels strange, you guys got to really, really,
yes.
really learn to trust your gut instinct.
Absolutely.
Your intuition and your gut instinct is your true self, your spirit letting you know that something is not right, and you need to question that. And as much as you think that other person is coming off and you need to listen to them for whatever reason that you would think you would need to listen to them,
you get that gut
trust
feeling.
that gut
Yes.
instinct.
You-
and if
you-
it's not right, question it.
Absolutely.
Question it. And you can start to see the patterns, if people start to become angry, aggressive,
Right.
when
Not even that,
you're
or
trying
like
to
very
have-
self-sulking,
keep
like when
your
you
own
start
freedom.
to question and like just their whole, you know, like attitude changes. They get sad about things,
depressed,
you know, like that kind of stuff. It's not always, you know, anger and outbursts. It's also the other way around, just like, you know, self-sulking and
absolutely
very sad, and you know, like you can just tell.
I was going to take a picture of you guys with the Rise and Shine thing in the background, so that way I have that. But we're going to take pictures afterwards too. I did put out, and so Anthony Reyes is tapping in saying, "Good morning, my people. Much love."
Morning.
So thank you so much for tuning in and shouting out.
Good morning,
also,
Anthony.
Well, Robert, he's an artist as well. Also, he's also an artist as well. He has a La Raza like voice, like his voice is like very smooth when he.
Are you talking about that one song, that La Raza song?
Yeah. Aunt Reyes comes off like that, but Robert, he goes by Aphex, but he also says what's up, and he's really enjoying the information. He's like thumbs up, good stuff, letting us know that. So
awesome.
I hope you guys are able to take this information out and share it with people that you think may definitely need it, or people that you know could take it out and share it for others. This is the reason we're bringing it to you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to chime in and ask. If you have questions for friends, for loved ones, for yourself, and or just in general, like we said, like Anitra is working really hard with many others in the county. This is a county-wide movement and something that we're bringing all together, and it just makes me think. I just had Motec Patrick Sanchez on. He's a candidate for county boards, the supervisors board, the county board of supervisors. As is one other, Julie Dameron Brown, and a few others. So that makes me want to ask them questions about those kinds of things down the road. I might ask them again.
Well, just really quickly before we forget, because we haven't mentioned it yet, and I had posted it earlier, is that anybody who's tuning in, we need to kind of make a list of those people. So if they, you know, said hi or whatever, that we're putting their name on a ticket for the drawing at the end of the week.
That's right. So Ingrid is doing the Date Night with Daddy, and that's going to be in June, and that is so that men and hopefully women will be able to allow, because sometimes families separate and women get angry. They don't want the dads to have time with their children. Sometimes it's very difficult for them to do so, but we ask at this time, should that father choose to want to be there and take their daughter on a date and to show her what that should look like from his perspective and what he wants to do for her, it's an opportunity for them to do that. Moms, please don't be selfish and allow that to happen if he should choose to want to do that. And the daughter is very excited to want to have this date night with Daddy. Allow that to happen so that he can show her something that might not otherwise be found when she goes out, and she might end up with some crazy guy.
I have to say, well, this kind of just ties in. You know, I'm just trying to help the community in their, you know, some of the brokenness, but it also is building bonds for fathers and daughters, and it allows the daughters to grow up knowing how to be treated and what expectations to have from a man, and more easily, like when you have a good relationship with your dad, you're going to be more easily aware of things that are not right. You're gonna, like, if you know, well, my dad didn't do that, or you know, that kind of thing, because ultimately your dad is like your first love. And so you know, when he sets a precedence, then it's just gonna help the young ladies.
You measure everybody else up to up to where you
and we just hope that, you know, dads are you know, doing the right thing for them, because, you know, sometimes sometimes, you know, we might not always be the best either, but this is an opportunity to bring out the best at that time, for those reasons. And we definitely want you guys to keep in mind, though, that these human traffickers, these pimps, could be anybody,
even your neighbor next door. And that there have been instances in our county as well as the Sacramento County where it was that nice little old couple down the street.
Are you kidding me?
You didn't know what they had going on in their basement. But nosies, it pays to be nosy. I encourage you, go be nosy neighbors right now. Peer out your window.
I'm a nosy
Start
neighbor.
paying attention to the traffic, you know, going to certain homes. And so that's what a family finally, after a year of watching this older couple, decided to call law enforcement, because cars all times of night, the night would just be coming for an hour or so and leaving. And it's because they had a 13 and a 15-year-old there that had been trafficked, and men and women were coming to do things to these young kids, and that was just that lovely old couple down the street. So again, no one is above this. This is not just affecting the poor. This is affecting all of our kids, and it doesn't matter what what socioeconomic class you're in. Talk to your kids. Let your kids know that you'll always love them. That being a young a teenager, you're gonna make mistakes, and even if you make mistakes and someone tries to blackmail you and say they're gonna send daddy all these horrific pictures or mommy, I still love you. Don't be afraid. You come to me.
It's okay.
And so I can't emphasize enough, moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas.
Be open.
Be open. Stop sheltering your kids. They're gonna hear it from somebody, and sometimes it's a bottom girl. It's the attractive girl, the cheerleader friend that's taking your kids to parties. They're putting drugs in their drinks. The next thing you know, they're in compromising positions. Video footage is
and they can't move their body because these medications have taken them over to the point where they are rendered useless.
Absolutely, but now I've got you on footage. Now I can tell. I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm going to send it to your mom, to your church, and everybody's going to know that you're a slut, so on and so forth. And so kids then will do anything that these people say because they're trying to preserve their dignity or protect their family's
their reputation, right?
And you guys need to let your kids know that none of that matters. That I love you unconditional. My love is unconditional.
Yes, and if something happens to you, you come to me with it regardless, and you guys will go at it together. Whatever bad image or reputation they want to come and bring your way, that you're willing to stand by your child and fight on those fronts, because it's getting kind of crazy. You know, social media, the bullying, the bullying, all the antics that they use to scare tactics for the control of another person. And if you guys just teach your children how to be so strong in of themselves that they can trust their decisions, allow them the room and the time to make a decision, to make mistakes, and to be able to come to you with those mistakes so that you guys can work them out together to teach them how to better handle those situations at a later time. With the human trafficking that we have, it is all ages.
Yes.
All ages.
All ages. And I do mean all.
It is the saddest thing to see the young babies, but is also as they grow older, the young men, the young women, and just how gullible in a sense that they can really be. So please just watch those signs. If you see people coming around, like you have your family, they have new people coming around, are they controlling? Are they
someone in possession of another person's documents? So airports have gotten really amazing. They're paying attention to who's holding the passport. So it's kind of comical because I'm very type A, and when we travel, I always have my husband's passport, the kids, and everything, and so
they're in line in order.
And so it was awesome because one of the TSA agents, I mean, they were like, okay, so you have everybody's. And I laughed and I was like, I promise I'm not a trafficker. You already know. Yeah, I already know. And I was telling them what my role is. And so now I have to be mindful of that. But it touched my spirit to know that they are really paying attention.
That's good.
We want them, and we want them to remain diligent. And that's the thing that sometimes people in the professional world may have a little slip once in a while. But this is why I'm bringing this to you guys, and I am so glad Anitra is bringing it to all of us, because it's everybody's job to remain diligent.
Yes.
Everybody's job.
And say something. So I was telling my sister, that sometimes we give information to people, but those are some people just, it's not my problem,
right?
And then right. But for me, I have daughters, and it's so funny. Then you say it's like of all ages, because we kind of were making a joke. It wasn't joke because my daughter's like really little, like small, like your daughter, and so she's always like, I can't go anywhere by myself because somebody's going to kidnap me. She says that, right? So she won't go anywhere by herself. But she always tells me, she's like, Mom, you need to be careful. Somebody might take you. And I'm just like, Azuri, I'm in my 40s, right? And she's just like, no, but she says, yeah, Mom, but you're pretty.
It's true. I mean, you have to. We all need to be paying attention and being mindful and not putting ourselves in certain situations. So going to the ATM at like midnight, or you know, going to a party and you don't know any of the people there, but you were invited.
Right.
You know, you're drinking something, you turn your back, and then you go back for that drink. I mean, you have to really be aware. And you bring up a good point. My daughter's very little. She's lightweight like yours, and so she is also extremely cautious, because even though she's 23 years old or 22 years old, she's gonna kill me, 22. But she looks like she could be 14 or 15 years old. She looks so young in the way she's built. She looks like a little girl. And so, unfortunately, there are types that, you know, people prey on and that they look for. And again, it's not just girls there. People have a thing for our young boys as well, and they are after them. And as young as 7 years old, we have cases where these young boys are just being, their innocence is being robbed. And I'd love to put you in touch with one of our male survivors. He's in Southern California, so I'm going to make sure that I get you that information. He travels a lot, because I'd love for our community and listeners to hear from a male survivor.
I believe that
in 6 months, he said that he had been assaulted over 300 times, so by men and women. So in a 6-month period, there are some captors who will say, you've got to 10 times, you've got to do 10 tricks or
a day or something.
A day. Yeah, there's a quota. And this little kid, I can't even imagine.
No.
But he loves to share his story, so I'm definitely going to make sure that you're
I'm so happy that he does love to share, because people really need to understand
they do
the severity of that and what that looks like on a first encounter. I mean, we can do this, bring you information and tell you this is what we're working on, and this is something that we need to stay vigilant and diligent about here in our community, because we're trying to have a better place for our children to grow up.
Absolutely.
We're trying to everybody be on watch.
Oh, yeah.
So that the development of our city comes with a good foundation.
Right.
You know, we have those holes, and yes, we are working very tactfully, I want to say, to work on these things that are just worldwide situations. But we don't want those things in our backyards, in our front yards, because it is so close to home. There's so many things that we need to tackle, not only just human trafficking, but terrorists and things of that nature that are coming to our area. And these are the experts that we can bring to you, so that you guys can have a resource to go back to in the event that you guys forgot something. You know, you can go to St. Joseph's and find Anitra and ask her, what was that information again?
Absolutely.
I need to get some of those, maybe if you want to put it on a lighter or something. And so people have, you know, they never lose their lighters out on the streets, you know, in the homeless communities.
Yes. Oh, yeah, those are important.
But, you know, at least those floating around have some kind of safety checkpoint where they can say, I need to borrow your lighter, and boom, there it is.
That's a good idea.
Just a quick glance of the number,
Yeah.
and then they have it. So just things like that. I want to arm you guys with information and ways to save yourselves, to save your loved ones, to better the community, to patch up the brokenness, to bring our children into something that's a lot greater, and to know for the elders who have gone through things, that there is hope for the future. There's hope, still hope, while they're still here.
Absolutely.
Well, I think one of the good things that you had mentioned is just like, and you as well, is that, you know, if it doesn't feel right, if you're somewhere and there's a situation that's ongoing, like the one thing one situation I was telling my sister about when she had first mentioned she was bringing you on was the Uber driver in Sacramento.
Yes.
That he had like a young girl, she was like 16 and she was either in the front seat or she was in the back seat with another girl who was older, and was basically kind of telling her like what to say, you know, and what to do, kind of like grooming her. But he was dropping them off at a Motel 6.
He was listening to their conversation.
He was listening to their conversation, and so when he ended the ride, he called 911. And she was being trafficked.
Oh my goodness.
See, pay attention.
Pay
people.
attention.
And that's a perfect, yes, please pay attention. And again, it's not just the male. It's so pimps are female as well.
Yes, and there's a big portion of them are females.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my gosh.
bottom girls, these are sometimes girls who have aged out and they take on the big sister role.
Yeah,
where
I was going to say they're their friend.
They're their friend. And they're teaching them the tricks, the trade. And so be mindful of that. And so query your kids' friends that they're bringing
Yes,
around, because
please.
kids are being trafficked in high school. So Monday through Friday they're going to school, but come the weekend, Friday night and Saturday, Mom, Dad, I'm going over to so and so's
We're
house.
spending the night.
They're actually out
Doing
being trafficked,
Oh.
being exploited. And sometimes it's because I went to that party and I got super drunk, and next thing you know, people are showing me video footage of all these different guys and girls, you know,
And they got
me
themselves
engaged
in a
yeah,
situation.
exactly. And now I feel like I don't want this to get out, so I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do, because the last thing I want to do is disappoint my family.
Yeah.
And so that's why parents, if you're listening, have those crucial conversations with your kids.
Yes,
Let them
please.
know we've all messed up.
Yeah,
Yep.
be
You know?
forgiving. You have to
forgiving,
forgiving
absolutely.
Know that
grace.
these things will and can show up at the doorstep, and these are the type of friends that they can and will find out there.
Well, one of the things that
Screen
for
them.
me, for myself, is that, you know, for my children, I've always been open with them because they should be able to come to me no matter what.
Yep.
No
Yep.
matter what, and they should be able to trust me.
Absolutely.
And so I've built that bond with my kids, that, you know, if anything were to happen, like they do come to me.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to share with me, because, you know, sometimes when you're constantly like berating your kids and
Yeah.
you're constantly on them, then they feel like they just have nowhere to go, and
Yeah.
that kind of just drives them back.
Absolutely. It drives them, into the arms of someone else, or,
or
So-
to a situation that or a home that they don't necessarily want to be in, but they know that they can go there because anybody can go there, and then
Yeah.
they find themselves in a situation next to somebody who wants to give them that time and attention, and they're like, oh, you're so beautiful. Like, I just remember the story. I mean, I've kind of seen situations like that myself, but I just remember the story of the lady who was our speaker that at the time that I went, but she wrote the book.
Right.
And how she said, like, her boyfriend was just like, oh, we should just go. And he was just always so sweet to her. But when she first met him, because she felt so ugly or out of place, but he was the only one that was just like, you're so beautiful, and like just doted on her and showed her the love that she really was wanting.
Right.
And she just fell for him like every which way, and no matter what he drove her to do and told her to do and suggested that she do,
She did.
Suggested.
she did
Yeah, exactly.
everything, because he was the one that was always giving her, edifying her beauty, edifying
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
you know,
Soul,
self-worth,
yeah, yeah.
you
Right,
know,
right.
and even though it was on that platform.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when they
It
have a child,
happens.
don't you love your daughter? If you love your daughter,
You'll
go
do
out there.
anything
You'll
for
do
her.
anything. You'll go
Yeah.
out there and make that
Totally
money.
used her,
Like,
baby.
You did.
Yeah.
And so, so she now works for Dignity Health. So if you are right now out there and you're listening and you're a victim, you're in a situation, know that you can become a survivor.
You can become
Absolutely.
a great survivor.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And their Dignity Health, we've employed Holly Gibbs. She is our director over the human trafficking
Yes.
division, and she's a survivor of human trafficking. She was trafficked for a weekend
That's right.
in the on the East Coast, and she's got just an awesome story that she
Yes.
shares. Wendy Barnes, the person that you're talking about, the author of that book, and she's now working with Dignity Health as well. So she's working with Holly Gibbs. Annika is a survivor doing great things. So again, you can share your story. You
Yep.
can let your story save someone else by
Please.
sharing it. And there's
Absolutely.
a platform
Please.
for you. You don't have to stay
That's
or
right.
believe what you're being told, that you're worthless, because none of us are worthless. And none of us, we were all born to be great. Sometimes it just
Absolutely.
takes life circumstances, us meeting the right people so that we can start to live our truth.
Yes.
And so none of us were meant to be slaves.
Nope.
And that's what this is. If you are being held against your will, or you're being forced to do things, if you're in an abusive relationship, that is a form of slavery.
Yep.
And you weren't designed, our God didn't design you that way. So
Right.
none of us, we were all born to be great. We were all born with a purpose in life. And if you want help, there's a community out there willing and ready to help
ready
you.
to embrace you
So-
when you guys are ready to be there. And if you know anybody who has been talking about it and knows it, please let them know what they can reach out to. You guys can find this on Facebook Live and on YouTube, but you can also go back and watch it again. So it will be up, and that time we will have links for you, as well as phone numbers for you. And when I also have that, we can also go back and repost. We can repost that on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton page, as well as Rise and Shine 209 page. I would be more than happy to share it on my own page as
Absolutely.
well. And so we'll bring that to you as soon as we can, so that way you guys have that and get it into into the hands of those. And maybe we'll have some stuff floating out in the community for you guys to hand out: key rings, keychains, lighters, pencils, whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever we can.
We'll make sure you get those cards for the meals or the
please,
show,
the
that
Meal and a Show.
Meal and a Show. Absolutely.
May 27th is the next one coming up.
Okay.
So we'll definitely do that. One of the gals that we do work with, her name is Chesray, so shout out to you, Chesray. She also has gone to work to sit on a committee to see, what was going on as far as the movement that they're working on in the Northern California region for the homeless.
Okay.
So what resources they can, and I think this would be a great resource to include in all of
Absolutely.
that, and in the networking for our community in
Absolutely.
every way, shape, form, fashion. And you guys are our community. No matter where you're at, no matter what situation you find yourself in, you are still part of our community. You're still one of us. We still care.
Absolutely.
And until you're ready to do so and take those necessary steps for yourself and be able to help yourself, we're here to help you and give you what you can. We have about 5 minutes. I would like for Anitra to share with you where we can be in touch with anything that you may need.
Sure. So again, my name is Anitra Williams, and I can be reached at Anitra, ANITRA.Williams, WILLIAMS, at dignityhealth.org. Dignity, DIGNITY, health, HEALTH.org. I would be more than happy to share any of our resources. Dignity Health also has an external web page, and you can access that by just typing www.dignityhealth.org, and you can type in human trafficking, and there's an external link that will allow you to download materials that we openly share. There's something called Be Safe and No One's for Sale. So I encourage you just to, we have access to the internet. Type in, Polaris Project, No One's for Sale, human trafficking material, and you'll be able to access materials that'll allow you to have crucial conversations with your children. So tips for parents how to have these tough discussions with their kids. But I always say, you speak from the heart. So we've told you what human trafficking is. It's not just about sex trafficking, but it's also labor trafficking. So just have a raw conversation with your children and let them know. Exactly.
That means they're manipulated, coerced, or forced.
Yeah.
It is not by consent.
Absolutely.
So if it is anything other than consent.
Well, under 18,
Under
there's no
18.
consent.
And under 18
no
as well.
No consent.
But for people who are of age, of
Yeah.
consenting age,
Correct.
It is coercion, manipulation, and force.
Yes, when you're being branded, look for those tattoos. So some victims have been branded between their knuckles, or they've got booze property or some sort of a gang insignia that's sometimes branded even on their face. Pay attention to the tattoos. Pay attention to just the dynamics between couples who we perceive to be couples, and then be that nosy neighbor. Pay attention to what's happening in your neighborhood. Encourage your school. So parents out there, demand that your school bring Suzanne Schultz or Anitra Williams to the school for education on human trafficking. Suzanne Schultz, again, shout out to her. I really want her on your show because I would love for her to talk about the dating,
the
violence and all those.
So important. That's so heavy these days.
So we have access, parents. We have access. We already started to sort of break that ceiling, so to speak. And so demand that we come and share.
I was going to ask you about
schools.
that. How are you guys doing that with the school? So we would need to have you guys. We would need to have you requested.
Correct.
So please, you guys have the names: Anitra Williams, Suzanne Schultz,
Yes.
and
and Cesar Chavez. They're leading the way. They're doing something.
I
So
love
they're
Cesar
hosting this.
Chavez.
Yeah, in
That
May
is
actually. So
amazing.
yeah, they're having just this month. So the
Beautiful.
series is starting. And then shout out to Francine Baird, the principal of Weston Ranch High School.
nice.
She has reached out to me as well as Suzanne. She's wanting to get this education for Manteca Unified School District. So
That's
big
great.
ups to the principal of Cesar
Yes.
Chavez, and then Francine Baird, principal of Weston Ranch High School. So parents, we got work to do.
Yes. Keep your kids safe. Like, I can't even emphasize that enough, just because I'm a mom, and I couldn't even imagine if anything like that. But,
especially a lot of the kids, they're latchkey kids,
Yes.
they are home alone, and parents and people in the neighborhood, if they have any kind of trafficking business going on in the neighborhood and they see that this person is coming home every day by themselves, it's an easy target. So arm your kids with great information, a lot of information, education, knowledge, places to go, safe places to go, numbers to call. That's what we want to bring to you guys today. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Anitra, so much for being here.
Absolutely.
And sharing this information. And thank you, Ingrid, so much for just being a part of this conversation as well, and the date night with Daddy.
We will go through and look at the comments so that we can get you guys on a ticket. So don't feel that you're left out. If you shout it out to us somehow, some way, we will put your name on a ticket.
All right. Well, that's been our show. Any last
No, and we'll be
comments?
posting the phone number and just giving you some more information online, making those resources available.
That's
to our
absolutely
listeners.
right. All right, you guys. Be strong, be safe, go out there, kick butt, you know what I mean? Save your people, save yourselves, and have like just a dope week. Enjoy your week, and you guys do something phenomenal for yourself, for others. It's a great day.
Awesome.
All right, you guys. Peace out.
Here at KXVS, broadcasting from Stone.